I'm so excited as up next in our Japan series is Tokyo. Covering 7 days of craziness, we've got a lot to cover, including DisneySea, Ginza, the famous shopping district, the lights of Shinjuku, how to get tickets at the forever sold out Shibuya Sky Rooftop, the Pokémon Café which sells out in seconds, we completed our ninja training, and how to attend a sumo tournament. So let's get to it. Top tip, Tokyo is massive, however the subway and train network is easy to use, the stations are in English and Japanese. To understand more about how to use the trains, check out our Japan Top Tips video. We stayed in 2 different areas, Disney Resort and Ginza. Otherwise it's between 45 minutes to an hour depending on what time you travel. On our first day in Tokyo, we stayed at the Mitsui Gardens Kobushai for 4 nights. It was a short walk to Tokyo Station, which made it for an ideal location as you also catch the Shinkansen from there. There is an insane number of train lines at the station, which gets you all across Tokyo. The hotel room was on the smaller size, and it didn't give you much room for larger bags. However, that is pretty standard for Tokyo. So Ginza is most famous for upmarket shopping, dining, and an entertainment district. It features numerous department stores, boutiques, art galleries, restaurants, nightclubs, and cafes. They've even got a flagship Muji store and cafe, and a 12-story Ueno store offering Japanese collaborations perfect for souvenir t-shirts. At Ginza Crossing, they have a Nissan shop. Check out the insane cars on show in the store. The main benefit of Ginza is it's the most central area to reach the most popular areas in Tokyo, like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Ueno, and Asakusa, all within 30 minutes on the subway. On our first night, we did a Shinjuku tip-based walking tour. You'll find the link in the description. The highlights included viewing the Godzilla head and learning about love hotels. We then got lost and continued the tour on our own, where we went to the Golden Kai. We ended our day by having dinner at Amode Yokusho, tiny street-like with restaurants serving mostly food on skewers. Our restaurant only had 10 seats and the food was cooked in front of us. It's an amazing experience and we'd highly recommend it. Next, we went to go play pachinko, which is a Japanese mechanical game similar to a slot machine. In Japan, gambling is illegal, so you win balls instead of money and then you exchange your money. However, we had no idea how to play the game and hadn't done any previous research, so we relied on the local Japanese men, which spoke no English, trying to teach us how to play, which was highly entertaining. Make sure you add it on your list to do whilst in Japan. Day 2 was all about Hakone and Kawaguchiko Lake. We booked a private tour through Vieta as we wanted to see both lake areas. However, you can get the Hakone free pass and the romance train from Tokyo, which takes about 90 minutes each way. If you want to know how to book it, head on over to our Hakone free pass video. After an hour and a half drive, our first stop was Awakyudani, an active volcanic valley. It's famous for its black eggs, which are boiled in sulfur water to give the eggshell a distinct colour. The belief is if you eat a black egg, you will live for 7 years longer. When we arrived in the geothermal area, we thought the day was going to be foggy, cloudy and miserable. However, as soon as we came out of the store, it had all cleared up. We caught the Hakone roadway from Awakyudani to Hakone. This is where the pirate ship leaves from. Next, our guide took us to the beautiful Oshino Hakai, a series of 8 ponds fed by Mount Fuji's underwater reservoir. The clean, mineral-rich ponds nested in the scenic village of Hakone are connected by quaint walkways and wooden bridges and are part of the Mount Fuji's World Heritage Site. On a clear day, you can even see Mount Fuji. We visited a 300-year-old family-run silk shop and purchased a Mount Fuji tie costing £22. As we left, the clouds had cleared, meaning we could get a great view of Mount Fuji. Next up was our first Shinto shrine in Japan, where the guide taught us how to pray. The shrine is famous for where samurais would walk to the temple. You'll even find their names engraved in the stone. The torii gate of the shrine is one of the only 3 original large gates left in Japan. After, we headed to Kawaguchiko Lake and caught a private speedboat which cost about £50. It was so enjoyable, however, we didn't get to see Mount Fuji as it was cloudy. After, the guide took us to a family restaurant which overlooked the lake and we sat on tamarati mats and ate chicken katsu curry, vegetarian ramen and tempura, and this was one of the best meals we had in Japan. Our tour finished at 5:30 p.m. and we asked the tour guide to drop us off at the Meiji Temple. 5-minute walk from the temple is Takeshita Street, which is lined with street foods and anime and cosplay clothing. Don't make the mistake of getting there too late as the street shuts at 7 p.m, so make sure you arrive early in the evening. We ate plenty of street food for dinner, including a medium potato tornado. Can you believe this candy floss is only a medium size? And we finished with candy-coated strawberries, where they offer 50% off towards the end of the night. Day 3, we explored Tokyo Station, and you can really get lost in there. Now it was lunchtime. We'd made a reservation a month in advance at the Kill Bill restaurant, Konpachi Nisai. The whole experience was amazing. Sitting inside with the lanterns made us feel really traditional, and we even got to watch soba noodles being made. We ordered a massive feast, including a mushroom skewer, vegetable tempura, seaweed fries, soba noodles, fried chicken, and pork and egg rice. And the soba noodles is their speciality. The food was a 10 out of 10, and it wasn't overly expensive either. Cost £27 or $34. The restaurant is a little bit out of the way, but we're so glad we've experienced it, and we felt like we were in the Kill Bill movie. So we'd highly recommend you making a reservation. In the evening, we went to the Pokémon Café. Now listen up for some top tips. It sells out in under a minute, and it was a real challenge for us to get a reservation. It took us 6 days in a row. Tickets get released at 10 a.m. Japanese time, and you do get a second chance for them to be re-released an hour later. And the main tip I would say is when you're in Japan, after 9 p.m. Japanese time, they release all of the cancellations for the next day. So we would recommend doing this instead of trying at 10 a.m. because it's so difficult. And every day that we had a look at cancellations, there are around 15 slots for the next day. In general, we found the food to be overpriced and tasted okay. There were 2 desserts that we ordered, and we had a drink. It cost £30 and around sort of $37. But you're actually paying for the experience and the theme of the cafe, as well as the Pikachu show. The show was quite childish. They were singing "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands." You don't get to meet Pikachu, you just have to snap a photo when he's walking past you. Overall, we wouldn't visit again. It's worth a visit if you are a Pokemon fan. However, next door is the Pokémon Center, which is a large store full of all the Pokémon merchandise you can ever dream of. Day 4 was one of my favourite districts of Tokyo, Asakusa, which retains the vibe of older Tokyo unlike the rest of Tokyo, with traditional craft shops and street food stores along Nakamai Street, and also the ancient Sensoji temple is stunning. We arrived at 10 a.m. and it was already pretty crowded and busy. We'd recommend arriving before 8:30 if you're looking for it to be less crowded. Allow yourself a couple of hours to wander through all the traditional streets. The Buddhist temple of Sensoji is the oldest temple in Tokyo. The structures in the temple complex include a main hall, a 5-storey pagoda, and some large gates. Now, if you don't go to Kyoto, this is a must. However, if you've been to Kyoto, you would have seen similar architecture, and the line to get the Goshuin stamp took 35 minutes, which is insane. The area houses loads of traditional matcha houses and experiences. I bought matcha with milk and watched them whisk it right in front of us, which was so cool. After we visited Akihabara, the electric city. Akihabara is a buzzing shopping hub famed for its electronic retailers, ranging from tiny stores to vast department stores. The venue specialises in manga, anime and video games. If you're a gamer, you could get lost in here for hours. Next up is one of those unforgettable experiences, sumo wrestling. Sumo is Japan's national sport. There's 6 grand tournaments held in Japan each year, with 3 in Tokyo in January, May and September. Each tournament lasts around 15 days, and if you aren't attending during these times, don't worry, you can visit a local stable and watch them in training. We weren't familiar with the rules, so we booked a sumo tournament tour via Vieta, which included a tour of Ikon Temple, which is where the first sumo fight was held. And the sumo wrestlers even come here to pray for power. We sat in the temple and the guides explained the rules and history of sumo on a presentation. The guides then walked us to the sumo stadium and showed us to our very own seats. We were on the 2nd floor, which offered a stadium chair and good views of the ring. There are 2 different seats available, seated by the ring, which is on the floor on some cushions. These are considered the more premium and expensive seats, or a stadium seat, which is a proper chair with a back. Throughout the tournament, the guide came and explained useful information and even explained their favourite wrestlers, which they were so enthusiastic about. We even got to witness a historic moment with a Yokozuna being awarded after winning 2 tournaments in a row. Overall, we really enjoyed the experience. Make sure you add it on your list of things to do for a unique experience. Unless you know the rules and details of Sumo, we'd highly recommend booking a tour. The company we used was Wonder Travel. After the Sumo tournament, we then headed over to TeamLab Border Planets. It's a really great immersive experience, and I've done it twice now, using your senses and art to feel fully immersed. It often sells out, so make sure you make a reservation the day it opens, which is 60 days in advance. Now, a lesson that we learned is TeamLabs offer an amazing vegan ramen. However, it shuts at 8 p.m. before the experience is finished. So make sure that you book your ticket way before 8 p.m. and get in there for some food before you travel through your experience. Day 5, we started at the Ninja Cafe in Asakusa. We booked the experience with food and drink costing £35 or $45 per person. We really loved this as it felt very private and intimate. The cafe was very small and only had 2 groups at a time. It was a one-on-one experience with a ninja trainer, and we first of all got a choice of food and drinks, then we changed into our ninja clothes, and we were then taught how to throw 4 different types of ninja stars, use a blowgun, but our favourite was the sword training at the nearby temple, which we upgraded, costing us 1,200 yen per person, about £6.50 or $8. The experience lasted 60 minutes and then it was time for food, a ninja curry and rice. It was delicious. We really enjoyed our experience and would recommend you adding it onto your list. Next up was Ueno Park. We were going to meet our fellow pandas. They had a street market inside the park, offering mostly rice bowls, mugs, matcha bowls and a range of chopsticks. Most vendors only accept cash, so be sure to have some cash with you as there are some bargains to be found. Opposite the street market was the main attraction, the zoo. It wasn't the best zoo we've ever visited. They did have some interesting animals, some Japanese monkeys, a polar bear which we saw getting fed, which was incredible, gorillas, and most importantly, our family of pandas. The pandas were really popular. They have 2 enclosures and both enclosures had queues of over 30 minutes each. They even have a pagoda in the zoo. If you are looking for some interesting animals like we've listed, we'd recommend you spending 2 to 3 hours at the zoo. Our last evening before we head over to Disney is we went to Shibuya Crossing and Shibuya Sky Rooftop. Top tip is arrive earlier in the day to get the best photos on the crossing without thousands of people. We got there about 4 p.m. The crossing gets crazy busy with up to 3,000 people crossing at a time, and as soon as it gets dark and everything is illuminated, it's really hard to walk on any of the sidewalks. An evening highlight of ours was the Shibuya Sky. It is an observation deck that offers 360-degree views, spreading up to 229 metres above Shibuya. But it also has escalators in the sky, which I have never experienced before. We booked the rooftop from 5 p.m. to 5:50. It was sold out on the day and does sell out in seconds when the tickets first get released. The rooftop ticket means you get a reserved seat for 50 minutes with 2 drinks and a snack per person. It costs 7,000 yen and £33 or $40. The tickets get released about 30 days before, so have a look on the calendar to see when it's released for your dates. The view from our seat was gorgeous, covering both Tokyo Tower and Tokyo Skytree. They do offer standard tickets where you can get access only to the observation deck. Both tickets allow you to stay as long as you like. By arriving at 5 p.m, we got the best of both worlds. We got day and night photos as well as sunset at 6:50 p.m. It does get really busy after 6:30 with queues of people waiting to get into the locker room. Therefore, I'd recommend arriving between an hour and a half before sunset. In the evening, we visited the Snoopy Café. We found it really disappointing as the drinks were cold and the pancake lacked flavour. Due to it being a specialty restaurant, it was massively overpriced, costing about £30 for 3 hot drinks and a matcha pancake. Drop us a comment if you've experienced any of these places before and if you'd recommend going to them again. Our last 2 nights we stayed at the Toy Story Disney Hotel, which was by far our favourite hotel of the entire trip. We've stayed in Disney hotels before, but nothing like this. The theming was incredible, with play areas and characters to take photos outside. The room blew us away and we really felt like we were in Andy's room. To give it justice, you've got to check out our dedicated video. The next day, we caught the Disney monorail and spent a full day at DisneySea. from 9 AM until 8 PM. The park is very unique compared to other Disney parks we've visited. It includes different lands and seemed vast in size. For a full review of restaurants, attractions, the evening show, check out our DisneySea video. If you've enjoyed this video, we'd appreciate you giving us a thumbs up and sharing the video with your family and friends. And make sure you check out our Japan top tips and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on any of the latest Japan travel guides. See you next time!